Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Shauna Kay. If you're new here, I talk about alternative medicine, spiritual things that are taboo and not really talked about amongst people with my kind of background. I was born and raised in the church, so very strict, very church-loving, non-denominational, church-hopping parents, Bible study every night, have a corporate job, I work for the government. So in my general life and everybody that I know in my life, I have very few that I could be open and just chit chat about, kratom, marijuana, astrology, how its roots are actually in the Bible and how God actually used it and created it as a tool for us to utilize, not worship, but utilize. There's actually a verse that specifies distinctly tells the difference about its use and its purpose. But I just can't talk like this. So I created a YouTube channel so I could vent. And then if people are interested and I run across them in my life, I'll just share with them a link and go from there. But that being said, in a roundabout way, in this video, I'm going to talk about manifestation and negative thoughts and how I think society as a whole, or the trend of manifesting your dreams that you see everywhere on YouTube, and where they get it wrong, pretty much. I'm going to talk about where they get it wrong, talk about what's damaging, BS behind a lot of the shit that they drill into you. Like, do this, you need to want it. Negative energy, negative thoughts are horrible. It's bad for you. Don't have negative thoughts. That's what's killing your manifestations from occurring and being blah, blah, blah. There's so much that we're going to just dive right in. I have my 2 cents and thoughts about it. I've lived life long enough, done a lot of stupid shit, have a lot of regrets, had a lot of hard chapters in my life where I really was at my lowest level, where I've had to build my life up to where it is today. So I finally am at a point where I could go back in time and see what I was doing when things were low, or when I was at my lowest. What things did I allow in my life, or what things I was doing to get the blessings that I have now? Like, what did it take? What's the process? I have been studying manifestation the past few years throughout my studies on astrology and Christianity, diving deeper in that, kind of unpacking everything that I was brought up. I've read the Bible cover to cover several times. It was just a mandatory thing in my home growing up. We had Bible study every night. I could out-debate most pastors. But there was still so much that I was naive to and ignorant to. I didn't know the first thing about grace or love or forgiveness or mercy until I actually was one of those girls who fucked up and did stupid shit to need forgiveness for. Until I failed, I really had no comprehension of what forgiveness really was, how to give it to others, the importance of it in our lives and other people's lives. It's like there's a part in the Bible where he gave a parable where he was giving an example of a farmer or a person who was forgiving people's debts. And the one that felt the most relief and really appreciated being forgiven was the one who had owed the most. And the person who barely owed the guy anything was like, oh, thanks for forgiving me. Unless you've truly been in a spot in your life where anything good happens, you'll never really understand how great that feeling is. Like, to get to a point, people who have been down and out, who have suffered greatly, who have had such a hard life, so much shit dealt them that made no sense, that was not fair, and so many of them become bitter and angry and cynical. Trust me, I've been there. I get it. And when they hear these things like manifesting, it's like they chalk it up to bullshit. It's typically men who have gone through really hard times in their life, blue collar workers. They're like, laugh when they hear the word manifestation. They're like, fuck you. This is stupid and it's bullshit. It's for stupid girls that are millennials or whatever they want to say. Gen Z. But I totally understand where they're coming from. Negative thoughts. The number one thing I think people have wrong is they're taught that negative thinking is bad, that that they're wrong for doing it. Negative thoughts, they attribute to them being weak in a sense for having them. And so they start this method. Have you ever heard the method of fake it till you make it? And that's like you're shutting off your negative thoughts. We need to stop right there, and we need to understand the purpose for negative thoughts. Why do we think negative things? Why are we cynical? Why are we judgmental? If you really stop and look back, you'll know that negative thinking comes from a place of pain, hurt, being triggered, comes from a flight mechanism. Our brain goes there for a reason. We've either had trauma in our life, we've been burned so many times. There's a reason our brain goes to a negative thinking. It's actually a self-survival mechanism. We do it to envision the worst case scenario so we avoid it. So our brain will think in the worst case scenario, no matter the topic. And depending on your history and your, mental, how strong you are at that point in controlling your emotions, some people go really deep into negative thinking and it really affects them. Some people are just negative. Some people know how to get out of it. Some people beat themselves over when they have negative thoughts, like they think it's bad or wrong to have them. What people need to understand is they're there for a reason, and they should be there. Like, we shouldn't want to get rid of negative thinking. Our brain goes there for a reason, and it's to take care of us, to protect us. So knowing a negative side to something is not a bad thing. Sometimes that's what we need to make a good choice. Sometimes we need to know and see the negative side to a situation, so we know what decision to make that would be the good one, that would produce a positive outcome. So first thing is we need to accept negative thinking and not demonize it. We really need to understand that it's a purpose. There's a purpose there for it. Another thing people get wrong is the process of manifesting something and just expecting it to drop in front of you at your doorstep, like a blessing. There's a difference between blessings and manifestations. And this is how I see it. Not everyone's going to see it, but it's probably because of my Christian church background that I look at it this way. But for me, a blessing is something that miraculously will happen when I did very little to make it happen. Manifesting is something I put in a lot of work and belief, because it takes both, to have this thing happen. So it's like the rewards of my labor. A lot of people will just try to manifest something, do this like process, a step-by-step thing of writing it down 6 times every 6 hours, or I forgot what they call it. They'll do this, but then they'll put very little action behind what they're wanting to manifest, thinking it will just drop in front of them like a blessing. No, there's 2 very different things here. Manifestations require you to take action, to put something to work, to make something happen. That's what people usually leave out of the equation when they're trying to manifest. They forget, or they don't put as much focus on the fact that it takes an action. It takes you doing something to make something flourish, to make something happen out of nothing. It takes action. And a lot of people are lazy, not just mentally, but physically, both. And they're uncomfortable. A lot of people don't like getting uncomfortable. There's so many people I know that stay at a dead-end job, bitching and hating it, but they don't put any effort in trying to find something better. I learned early on in my life that to get anywhere in life, I had to put in fucking work. Blood, sweat, and tears. There were points in my life where I had no one there for me except myself. And it was those seasons that truly taught me how to manifest things and make my life what I wanted it to be. The only person that's going to be there for you at the end of the day is you. No one is going to hustle more than you. No one's going to love you more than you. It starts with you. You cannot manifest anything without putting work into it. There's levels of the kind of work it requires. Bigger dreams require bigger effort. But again, a lot of people don't do it. They're lazy, they're tired, and I get it. Mentally exhausted, that's a thing. I've been down and out in my life, but that is where I was the most motivated to get shit done. And when that happens, you really have to harness the negative thinking, because when you get to that point where you're putting in a lot of action to see something happen, the negative issue of it all starts to sleep in after that. You have to learn to harness your negative thoughts. You have to learn to utilize them, not be afraid of them, not shame yourself for them, but use them as a tool to get what you need and go where you need based on your thinking process. It really takes positive thinking, negative thinking, and action to make a manifestation happen. That is the equation. You need all those things to make it happen. And again, there's a difference between blessings. Blessings are something that happen as a gift from God, gift from life, however you want to see it, and usually isn't because of some effort you put into it. When you really put the work in, you will reap the reward. It requires effort. And a lot of people, that's what's always missing, is their effort to make something start to happen, to get where they want to go. There's so many factors to that. The lack of effort, like, why do you think you're not wanting to put effort in it? Are you afraid of rejection? Are you afraid of what's going to happen? Are you afraid of being told no, which I guess is rejection? Those are all factors at the kind of effort you're going to put into something, because people are afraid of failure. They're afraid of starting a business that flops. Most new businesses fail. Like, I forgot the percentage, but most fail within the first 3 years or so. It is really hard. And so many people won't even try or get it started because they're afraid of the evident, common failure. But that's what it takes for you to fine tune exactly what you need for the business that you're wanting. You kind of have to expect the failure. It's needed. And it goes back to the negative thinking that actually serves a purpose. It helps you make a decision. Your failures and mistakes help you make better decisions in life because of your experience, because you've been there, done that, and your knowledge of certain things. You make better decisions as you fail, but so many people don't. But those of us that are in tune and wanting to better our lives, we will learn from our mistakes and we'll get there. And same with starting a dream or a business. It requires failure to fine tune exactly the dream that's just for you, that's perfect for you, because all of our manifestations and desires are all different based on who we are, choices we've made, and the effort we're willing to put into it. But working through and sifting through those things are so important to manifesting exactly what you're wanting. And a lot of people don't talk about those factors of your effort and your negative thinking. Those are two key factors to manifesting. So those are my 2 cents. Now I'm going to go enjoy some kratom tea and some psychedelics to just relax tonight and have great lucid dreams. I will be giving some vlog here in the next few days about the latest and greatest, what's happening in my life. So expect that as well. Thanks for watching. If you liked, please subscribe, like this video, share, leave a comment. I love to hear from you guys and get your thoughts on things that I talk about. All right, until next time.